Let's start actually for our today's interaction. So we have Suchismita Sahu today with us. Suchi is someone who is a small town girl who grew up seeing cobras and king cobras at her backyard, and now she's a technology sector lead who is also a wildlife enthusiast, wildlife photographer, and a blogger. Uh, Her inclination and interest for wildlife and nature, especially the photography part of it, had started at her childhood. And over a period of time, as she grew in her profession, become more and more successful, established herself as an independent and empowered woman, and gained more and more financial freedom, she kept started pursuing her nature and wildlife photography with a lot more passion and seriousness. Uh, she lives in Bangalore with her husband and a 15 years old daughter. Uh, as I told, she's an IT professional, works with one of the reputed software product development company in Bangalore, which involves in financial tools development such as uh, market capital, insurance, core banking, etc. Suchismita works in the core banking division of their company and excels in that division with her financial background through her graduation and post-graduation from IIM Bangalore. Suchismita has read my book, Pseudo Ecotourism in the Shadow of the Bengal Tiger, which was released just a couple of months back, but not as a reader. I know her because I have traveled with her many times in many of my wildlife photography trips in past, and there I got an opportunity to witness her passion for nature and wildlife. And also I have seen that she is someone who doesn't hesitate to get out of her comfort zone whenever there is an opportunity to know ecology or behavior of a particular fauna from close quarter. So, Suchi, to start our today's conversation in this evening, uh, I would like to know more from you about your childhood and how you have developed this hobby of nature and wildlife photography.
Thank you so much, Arnab. That was a quite holistic and wonderful description of my whole journey. Okay, so I will, as you say, yeah, I'm a like a small town girl, but now it is a town. But back then it was a kind of a village from Orissa, right? So majorly, like we are very lower middle class family by then, and basically my family is belong to a farmer family. Like my grandpa was a renowned doctor, but his ancestors were all farmers actually. So even if he has a doctor as a profession, but he continued the that legacy of farming. So like I still remember in my childhood, we never brought anything from the market except the spices and oils. Uh, every like grains, fruits, vegetable, everything was grown in backyard. Of course, grains were in the field, which is a little far away from our house. But I had a huge backyard with a lot of fruits tree, vegetable yards. Like it is all homegrown. So that says that why I said that I grow up with cobras and king cobras. They will be all around playing. That's a kind of playground for them, right? So coming from that background, now you know where I connect with nature. So
Right.
it was like a in inside me from the childhood itself. My father is a businessman and mother is a homemaker, but
Mhm.
I most of the time I spend my childhood with my grandparents. So that's why their influence, they have influenced a lot in me, right? And then coming to photography, how it was started. So my maternal uncle who is settled in Dubai. He used to come in the
Yeah.
vacation to visit us, and he used to have a small camera, and that used to
Mm.
attract me. Like, yeah, what majorly he used to take picture of the family and everyone. So like it was something very attractive for me. But knowing my background and asking for a camera, like in that age, so it doesn't go well. Like it doesn't go well. Didn't go well. Like it used to consider as like as if I'm trying to kind of getting into a spoiled brat or showing off kind of things. Anyway, that chapter closed there. Then like so life happened. Like I was like much like busy in like my studies. Like that was because I said that I'm like the with the family background. I was more like focused on the study till where education till where I can reach and start a job so you can earn money. So that time we never like kind of try to find a what is passion. We never get a chance. Forget about trying to find what is your passion. We never knew there is some concept called passion is exist. It
Yes.
is like it is like always one track. You complete your education, start earning, then go into that track. Right. Then after I started, even I did my post graduation in IIM Bangalore after my job only, so that I can pay my own
Mm,
course fees. Right.
mm,
So then after job, then I got married, then child. So all these things happened, right? But then when my daughter was around 3 years old, she's now 15 years old in the 10th
mm,
standard. When I was a 3 year old, I was like kind of a little overwhelmed, and I can't say stressed with the motherhood, but it was quite overwhelming for me.
mhm.
So then I brought my first DSLR when she was 2.5 years old, just to capture her images, to make a memory of her. I just got that DSLR. Then when she is around 3.5 years old, then I thought like I need a break, right? So then I try to find out what is exactly the my passion. Like now I have a bandwidth to understand the concept of passion and what exactly it is for me. So then the whole journey started from there.
Yeah. No, that's quite fascinating. So I can say that probably 13 years. So when your daughter was 2 year old or 3 year old, that time you bought your first DSLR just to capture her images. And then I have first time I met you probably in 2019, if I'm not wrong, which is 5 years back. And that time you're already quite a seasoned photographer, quite a passionate photographer, and quite experienced in terms of how to behave in nature, how to interact with uh, uh, wildlife. So how did that happen? How that started actually? I mean, picking up a camera to take images of a toddler, then serious photography and high quality photography. How did that happen? If you just talk about it, like your
Okay, so the shift was like I was clicking her images. Then as I just till like around
Mhm.
2.5 3 years she was, I was telling that I was little overwhelmed. Like what exactly I need to do, right? So I packed my bag and I start my journey, my first solo trip to Ranthambore. See, like
Mhm.
everyone starts with
Okay.
the photography, so I was also fascinated with the tiger. Then yeah, it was always like I always seen tiger in zoo, but I never saw a tiger in wild that time. So I just yeah, I really thankful to my husband who is there in the call.
Mhm.
So he has been supportive to my all my craziness till date, right? So it is not easy to kind of have a wife like me. Like hats off to him. Like you should have a very like it is not a faint-hearted person can handle that. Right. Just imagine 3 years old daughter, I'm living with him and going for a trip.
And that
So
is also solo trip
that's a
without
trip.
any companion. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So, so he took care of the everything in the my daughter, the home side. He took care of him and they took
Mhm.
care of it. And I packed my bag and went to Ranthambore. So that time I was having a like a simple kit camera, like a
Mhm.
550D, the DSLR what I have got, and 18 by
Mhm.
55 kit lens. That's all. I didn't have anything.
Right.
Until the date,
Right.
I was not knowing the technicality of the DSLR, like how to, what is the different mode, what is aperture, what is ISO, what is like focal point, nothing. I just put it
Yeah.
in a like auto mode, point and shoot I used to
Yeah.
do. And whole my Ranthambore images I have done like that. But believe me, somewhere I feel few of the images are still best for me, kind of till
Mhm.
date. Anyway, so the journey started like that with the tiger photography. Then after coming back, then I was like, see, this is point and shoot. I'm just clicking and it is not going well with me. And even
Mm.
during that, I think that time I have done in Ranthambore around 6 or 7 safaris actually.
Mm. Yeah.
Around 7 safaris I have done. So one was with a canter, so that was I'm not counting much. So rest. But in that 7 safari, I saw tiger in 3 safari,
Okay.
right? So just
Yeah.
point,
That's a good start for a beginner.
yeah, point this statistic. I will come back to this again later, right?
Okay. Okay.
So 3 safaris I saw tiger, and it was a really wonderful experience. The kind of things, seeing the tiger in wild was a wonderful experience. But something
Yes.
I observed, like how people are kind of behaving, how like the whole communication with the guides and drivers happening, the
Mhm.
how they're moving around. Like so, morning you make a queue in the like all of us visited tiger safaris, like tiger reserves. You know how it is. Like the day
Yeah.
gate opens and everyone invades into the forest, right? So anyways, so this was like I was not thinking of much because this is my first trip. I was just more focused on the like how just to admire the tiger and the forest, right?
Yeah.
So then after coming back I thought, okay, let me know how the DSLR exactly worked actually.
Right.
So one more thing, that time actually we just shifted back to Bangalore from Bombay,
Mhm.
and I was not knowing many people in Bangalore. So I just went around and searched for any good photography workshop.
Mm.
So I got the information of Kalyan Verma's photography
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah.
I think half of the Bangalore's wildlife photographer might have trained by him only,
Yeah.
because by then,
Including me. Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
actually by then I think he is the only one who used to conduct this kind of workshops and all. Right.
Yeah.
So I think Sudhir Shivram was there, I think some little bit of, but yeah. So I joined Kalyan's workshop. That's a 2 days workshop, 1 day classroom, and
Yeah.
1 day we went to the like Lal Bagh. I think you know the
Right.
structure.
Lalbagh. Yes.
Correct. So that was actually opened up the whole technicality and aesthetic side of the photography. Right. I
Yeah.
get to know like how exactly DSLR works, how light, how aperture, ISO, everything works together. What is the triangle used to work? And same time, one thing I like about Kalyan's workshop, it is not about technical. He is teach about the aesthetic side of the photography, which I was not
Right.
aware at all. Right,
Mhm.
the uh, it's a lot of things, kind of right. The rule of third and all those things, right.
Yeah.
So that was like a first actual photography sense I have entered, and there, so that's what all it started actually.
Mhm. No, that's fascinating, and probably that's the story probably could be many people probably will be able to connect the story so far what you have told us, that first of all not even sure about whether you should look for a passion or you just focus on an employment so that you have your life is secured, your livelihood is secured, and then gradually as you grow as a human being you start developing various way of looking at the life, and then you end up being something more meaningful than just living a life. So Suchi, I have interacted with you uh, before even probably you read this book many times, and some of those interaction happen when we are jointly doing some photography. And interestingly, all those interaction on field when you and I are doing photography are photography related to herpetofauna, which we call macro photography in the language of photography. And then I got to know actually from your communication with you that you have a particular passion for or particular interest for photographing herpetofauna or macro photography. So this is one of your images. If probably this is the Malabar pit viper, right, Suchi? Uh,
Yeah.
this and where did you shoot this photo? This day?
Conversion, Sri Lankan pit viper.
Oh, this is Sri Lankan pit viper. So in Sri Lanka, you shot this photo, and you have a particular love for herpetofauna photography. So we would like to know from you that why out of all various genre or within wildlife photography, this particular genre excites you the most.
Okay. So I will just tell you from the beginning how it started.
Okay.
So yeah, so during the Kalyan's workshop I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
So see, this is like all happened giving a background. Like it is like you randomly meet a guy, there was
Mhm.
no, you just bump into each other, and he
Yeah.
became a soulmate for you, so for whole life.
Yeah.
So Horpetona is like similar case for me. I was not knowing what is rainforest and what is like all this world of frogs, amphibians, reptiles, snakes. I was not wanted to venture into the nature, capture the nature's essence. So that was my
Mhm.
whole point. So during the workshop session, I met another person called Dilan Mandana. If anybody
Mhm.
knows in the group, we call him Mandy actually.
Okay.
So I was talking to Kalyan. I said, Kalyan, so now I understand the photograph technicality and this thing, aesthetic of it. But if I wanted to go out, like, do we have any group with whom I can go? And because Ranthambore solo trip I did because that was everything was planned, set, you have the safari booked, everything, like it was in. But somewhere it was there that I love to explore the forest on feet than a safari vehicle, right? So I checked out. Then he said that okay, fine. One one person called Mandy. He introduced with the Mandy. He is going to Agumbe sometime, like coming like recent future that time.
Mhm. Mhm.
I will join, but where is Agumbe? What is Agumbe? What is like? I have no idea actually. I just blindly said I will join. So that's why I said. So when you just bump into a person without knowing background, like kind of, so that is what Agumbe happened to me. But believe me,
Okay.
I visited Agumbe till date 13 times. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, next week I am going, it will be 14
Right.
times.
Right. Every year, if I'm not wrong, every year at least once, if not more, you go to Agumbe.
COVID time I couldn't go, but after that I went multiple time in a year to cover up that. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
it was like a kind of a yearly ritual for me for to go to Agumbe in monsoon. Right.
Mhm.
But till date, I never like kind of a disinterested of that place. Every time it gives a new thing for me. Okay, so coming back to that, and I went to Agumbe without knowing where is the geographic location, what kind of forest, what I will get to shoot there. Even I was not prepared for the rainforest actually. I just
Mhm.
my t-shirt and jeans and went.
Mhm.
Right. So then I come to know like you have to have rich socks, gum boots, all these things. Right. So that is how the herpetofauna journey started. The introduction of the herpetofauna. But with Mandy, I went a couple of times more. Right. Then
Mhm.
suddenly I doing the trips, and I was not that confident to go to that kind of intense area all alone myself.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Uh, your books, one of the main character Shreeram, okay, who was
Okay.
that time I just came that Datter, he runs a company called Datter, like and everybody
Mhm.
should know, so during that time, only Datter who used to conduct like trips to rainforest or Agumbe. Like now, a lot of people
Mhm.
have started. During that time, only Shriram used to do it. So that is how
Mhm.
I got got acquainted with him, get introduced with him, and
Mhm.
that was first trip of Agumbe with Shriram. So I went, and and the my relationship with rainforest and the species got more intense during the trips with Shriram actually.
Mhm.
So we
Mhm.
was an introduction, but the intensity happens only with the Shriram, because of, why I started liking rainforest, right? So if you see in this picture, like see the beauty of this particular creature, the color,
Right.
like this is
Yeah.
one of the aspects. And this particular species is the reason why I love rainforest. Because first species I saw in my first trip in Agumbe is Malabar pit viper. This is the Sri Lankan version, but the
Yeah.
same like a group. The Malabar first time I saw, and I was like awe-founded. Like, do we have this kind of creature created in nature? Right. I saw king cobra, cobra, and pit vipers. No, we don't get it in my village or that time. We don't know. Right. But yeah. So this is the particular like species who make me fall in love with the rainforest actually.
That's very interesting. So you have mentioned that although there is no doubt that you yourself was quite determined and you had a lot of passion. Otherwise, uh, 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 nobody actually go for a solo trip in Ranthambore and then come back and then realize there is further need for improvement in photography, and in a completely unknown city find out what kind of workshops are there, find uh, a workshop which is basically run by one of the greatest photographers and wildlife filmmakers of our country. We learned a lot from you, but then again you've made someone who you yourself has acknowledged that intensified your interaction with rainforest and all these herpetofauna, which are amphibian reptiles and insects. So that means that person is as interesting as you are. So therefore, shift our focus to that person, the central character of my book, Pseudo Ecotourism in the Shadow of the Bengal Tiger, uh, MV Shreeram. Uh, you have read the book, Suchi, so you know, and people who have read the book who are attending this podcast, Shreeram makes his entry probably at the middle of this book. Already half of the story was told. Then he makes an entry, and then he takes the narration to a completely different direction. And all the key message which I wanted to convey through this book started flowing with his entry, and then kept flowing until end of the book, uh, uh, based on or centered around Sriram's character. So people who are connected in the field of wildlife photography, they already know who is MV Shreeram. But people who do not know, he is one of the renowned and award-winning wildlife photographer of our country. He runs a photography tour company called Darter Photography with his friends Manish Lakhani. So two of them are photography mentors. That's their profession now, and they do mentoring of various genre of photography. It's not just limited to wildlife, but also cultural photography, landscape photography, and more importantly, photography of indigenous people, which is quite unique, I would say. Even within wildlife, also, their mentoring is not just limited to uh, the so-called big cat or tiger. It includes all the mammalian species which are important for ecosystem, avifauna, herpetofauna, and ecosystems. More importantly, so it could be as Suchi has said, the rainforests of Western Ghats or Northeast India, or grassland of Western India, or subalpine or alpine forest of Eastern Himalaya and Western Himalaya. So the question for you, Suchi, that as an author of this book, I have illustrated Sriram's character based on my perception. But there are various people, including you, who have interacted with him, and they may have different perception. Sriram himself may agree, may not agree the way I have illustrated his character in my book. So, as an author, I'm curious to know from you, Suchi, that if you were given an opportunity to illustrate Sriram's character, how would you do that? And also, if you can throw some light on the mentoring experience, like as a mentee, how was your experience in your experience of working with Sriram?
Yeah. So this is like as I was telling, like why I keep going with Shriram. The first trip when I went to Agumbe, so means I was not expecting the like a kind of like that I will be going to meet a person who is such a knowledgeable in his own field, and very ethical, right? That is the main reason why I always stick to his trips.
Yeah.
So he makes sure that he is one of the very few photography mentor who makes sure that the subject or the spaces which we are shooting should not be disturbed. Like it will be kind of wherever it is, it has to be there, and you have to adjust accordingly. Right, I still remember one of the instance. There's a lot of instance like that. He never disturb the subject. Even if it's deep inside the bush, he will say, "You take your path." Without even he is very particular. You should not touch that tree also where it is sitting or sleeping. Right. So you just carve your path and go. So I still remember one of the trip. Actually, it was heavily pouring in Gumbe, and we were kind of doing the like a night tour, and then we saw one Malabar tree toad, which is very elusive. Actually, it was little inside.
Mhm.
Still, because it was like a kind of delight for any photographer to see a Malabar tree toad, but still he was like, "Let it be there. We will shoot from here." And you don't believe, I had a really bad fall. Actually, I just went in, slipped and fall. Not only me, even he has a big fall also. Like after he will send one by one person to take the picture. My turn, I fall down. Okay, somehow I get up and go. Next, when he went, he also fell down, right? Because that very narrow path, very slippery and very deep, rocky kind of. We go through this hardship, but still we don't touch the subject. It will be there. You will not kind of disturb it, right? So I don't want to kind of elaborate on that aspect because there are a lot of photographers now, mentors now. They are there are a lot of handling happening. To be very frank, so which I really don't appreciate, right? So I really get sometime like a kind of a I get angry on them also if I see that kind of things. That is the one point of thing. The second thing is like coming to herpetology, photography, and this thing. So it is every photograph you take with him, it is a story behind it because you have put your real effort to take that picture. That Malabar tree toad will be remain in my memory for a long time because I had a fall and I hurt myself also during the process, right? So and moreover, this is something that this genre is something which is not very easy, right? That's why not very a lot of people do it. Is not having the your luxury of the safari vehicle with a long and sophisticated lens. You are sitting with it and with like driver and guide is there to kind of guide you or at your service to say you there is the tiger, there is not in, or there is elephant, all these things is not there. It is all you are on your foot with a heavy pouring rain, and you are right taking the pictures, right? So that is the differentiator, definitely for the Shriram, and how I fall in love with the frogs, amphibians, reptiles, and snakes because he has the immense knowledge of the species and their behavior, right? So he knows. So suppose we are shooting a Malabar pit viper, he knows how much distance we need to keep because there is a behavior. They are like bounce on you like this. So how far they can go? That knowledge you should be having. People ask me, you are taking so close to the going to the so close to the snake and taking the picture. Are not they very dangerous? Are not they attacking you? So that is how the knowledge comes from. Like he knows the behavior of all the species, like what is their personal space, what we call, right? You be within that, take picture, they'll be fine with you. So those are the differentiator about him, right? Which makes him an amazing mentor as well. And with the photography technicality also. Like earlier, I never though I shoot a lot of macro pictures, but I never understood that lighting concept, right? Because you can't give a harsh light to a subject because that again will be affect them, right? So, but his guidance was amazing to understand the light, how the macro works. Not only macro photography, I have gone with him with a lot of other trips also, like
Mhm.
birding trips. Rather, I went to Antarctica also with him.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a purely a different kind of a um, altogether experience. So yeah, so those are the differentiator about him.
No, that's interesting and very nicely articulated by you, Suchi. That Shriram's role in developing you as a better photographer, as a better student of probably ecology and forest, and also ability to differentiate the hardship, which is more important actually. What you have mentioned, the hardship involved in photographing herpetofauna, photographing amphibians, reptiles, and insects, with photographing a tiger or a big mammal sitting in the luxury of jeeps with long telephoto lens in hand. So, with this context, Suchi, let me ask you the next questions. That in nowadays we see there are a lot of popularity of tiger tourism and tiger photography among wildlife photographers and ecotourists, and uh, this popularity, to some extent, uh, has drawn concern of conservationists, conservation scientists, as well as regulatory bodies. For example, NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority of India, couple of weeks back has mentioned that one of the central Indian tiger reserves, where tiger tourism has converted into tiger terrorism. That is the phrase used by NTCA, the authority for tiger conservation in our country. Also, various judicial system they have. That's also not new, actually. Very recent judicial pronouncement by one of the judiciary bench, where they have expressed their concern about over tourism. Even internationally, also over tourism is a concern as far as conservation of species or ecosystem is concerned. So, my question for you, Suchi, you are quite a experienced photographer now. After more than a decade, you have spent in wildlife photography and traveling to various forests or various part of the world. So, do you think that this overpopularity of tiger tourism, to some extent, can defeat the overarching purpose of ecotourism?
Oh, that's a difficult question, Arnab. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely. Yeah, kind of. See, I love herpetofauna. That doesn't mean I don't like tiger.
sure.
So
This is
they are,
one of your photo of tiger.
this is
Uh,
photo of the tiger because my whole journey started with them,
right.
and the first experience, the tiger looking at my eyes, he was just a 1 year old cub, but that intensity, this is talking about maybe 13, 14, 13 years back, 12, 13 years back, I'm telling, but that intensity still lives with me till date. Okay, so they are a very deep, very charismatic, and like they can pierce into your soul, that kind of animal they are. And I would say they are the most beautiful creation of the nature, right? And I am so proud because they are our national animal, right? And we are so many tigers around us in India. So I really take proud of that. But saying that, coming to the tiger tourism, so yeah, so that last more than 10 years I haven't done, I like except my last trip. Before that, I haven't gone to tiger safari like a duration of 10 to 11 years, right? So that was my Ranthambore. Then few years after I went to Bandhavgarh, then few more tiger safari I did. Then I stopped in the Bandhavgarh, like last I went there, right? So because why? Because it was give me a very sense of discomfort when I'm seeing those gypsies are like lined in the alley in the morning. People are rushing to be first in the queue. The guides are like, come on, you have to get up fast. You have to go fast because you need to be first in the line to get into the forest so that we can get the glimpse first and all. So it was like the gate opens, the whole gypsy, grrr, they invade into the forest. Okay. I know the tiger tourism is helping a lot, like arresting the poaching, and because we are like being the forest, the poachers are not getting chance to all these things. I understand that, but somehow I feel like you see one tiger, then all the gypsies are like kind of a huddled up there, and there are hundreds of people shouting, screaming with excitement, fighting for their good position to take a better picture and all those things. And knowing the tiger behavior and the characteristics, it is a personal animal. Very simple language, I will tell. They are very personal, they are very elusive. Like how this is matches, it doesn't match well, right? So it used to give me a lot of pain actually, kind of. So I said, no, this cannot be the thing during those time. Then I stopped it. I said, I will not go. Like I don't want it to kind of confront with anyone. I don't want to kind of argue whether tiger tourism is good or bad or something. But I just moved myself away, right? Saying that then I didn't go to the tiger safari for since till last May, just a couple of months back. Then again, like say one of the friend, he wanted to see tiger in India. So I thought, okay, fine, just to show him. Again, I just made a trip to Bandhavgarh and Tadova again. Right. So I will tell you the differences, like how it has been impact. You will get the answer. Like earlier, I told you, like I did 7 safaris in Ranthambore in my first solo trip. I saw only 3 safari tiger. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yes.
Here Here I have done in Bandhavgarh, I did around 5 safaris, and Tadoba I did 6 safaris. So it was an 11th safari I saw. I have seen 15 individual tigers, and in all the safaris I saw tiger except for the 2. So out of 11, 9 safaris I saw tiger. Okay, so you see the increased number of the kind of visibility, which is
Five times increase in number of tiger sightings, and if you talk about the percentage of sightings, is probably multifolded in.
good.
So
So
it's
you
phenomenal increase. Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Correct. Maybe that is a bit good because the tigers are coming and showing up to themselves, right? Earlier they now used to do it. But another thing, what I observe, like, so it may be a little funny, but that is my observation. The whoever tiger I saw and what tiger I saw earlier, 11 years back in Ranthambore, Bandhavgarh, and other places, I feel these tigers are more getting more bulkier, little bit obese kind of things. Maybe my observations wrong or right, I don't know, but this is my observation, right? So like maybe it is because the promoting the tourism, we are like increasing the prey base, we are giving the like easy access to the all the resources what they need, kind of. But one more thing, I should say, see earlier if you see the statistic, there were poaching were there, right? Tiger used to die, but we somehow we could have controlled the poaching. The tiger numbers have increased, but we have not increased the forest patches. The forest
Absolutely,
patches are decreasing due to the name of the development. And I don't
absolutely.
have to tell like what is the tiger territory sizes. All of here who are in the call, they are well known wildlife, this thing they know, right? How much big area a male tiger and a female tiger need, right? So we don't have that kind of thing. Some interesting facts I observed this time in my the tiger safari, right? So in Bandhavgarh, one incident happened, right? Like so their same thing continues. Like they have in the group calls the guides, the drivers. Okay, this tiger is there, this moving there, and all kind of blah blah thing. So one of the cases, then we got the information that the tiger is on the move with the cubs. Okay, we are excited. We went there. So I saw mother came with the 4 cubs. Behind it, father also came. And I was like, really, is this the tiger's actual behavior? Because all of life I knew, male tiger doesn't involve in raising the
Cup.
cub. It is only the responsibility of a female. I saw a tiger family, like mother, father, and 4 cubs. And it was little bit difficult to digest for me. Ki how can this is happening? So maybe tigers are evolving. They're also adapting the new things to like arrest this kind of a territorial this thing, right? So I don't know what is the reason, but this is the one of the observation I got. And another thing is like earlier, as I said, used to have tiger used to get poached. That tiger killing rate. We have arrested the poaching, but tiger death is not arrested. Okay, still tigers are dying, and there used to be very rare occasion when a territorial fighting tiger used to die. But now it is like a kind of it is like a very like a normal thing. The territorial fight there, one of the tiger die because they know that because earlier it used to happen that if they fight for the territory, one see that other one is overpowering me, one will be go away. because he knows if not this territory, I will get another territory. Maybe I will not get a lake, I will not have a water resource, maybe I will not have a prey base, but I will get another territory, so like little bit lesser or whatever. But now they also know if they leave this, they will not have a another territory. So they just fight till one of them is dead.
Right.
So that
Right.
is the another increase in tiger. And another thing, I never knew that female, it was there, female tigers are fighting for the territory, but it was very, very rare. Female tigers used to fight only if they have a cub or something happens, if the other female comes to the territory, they used to fight. But not on a regular basis. Now, female tiger fighting for the territory is a common. I have witnessed one in the Ranthambore trip also. Sorry, in the Tadawar trip the couple of months back. So even tigers are kind of evolving with all these things. And one more thing observed, this trip I saw tigers are coming very near to the gypsy. Means one of the place like there is a tiger, huge male tiger in Tadaba called Chota Matka. Okay, he was just next to the jeep, next to our jeep. When I was sitting, he was just below. Kind of like my 150 mm is
You
also
could have
cutting his.
touched that close.
So means they come that near and they're comfortable, right? We feel uncomfortable, but they're comfortable with that. Not only him, lot of tigers I saw, they're coming to the near to jeep and they're getting comfortable, and they know that these gypsies are harmless. They will not do anything, kind of. So I don't know whether this is a good thing or it is we are just kind of killing their wilderness with all these things. Maybe I'm not in a position to comment on that, but this is my observation actually. Somehow we
No,
are killing their wilderness by all these things.
fair enough, Suchi. I mean, whatever experience you are sharing with us, it gives a kind of indication. Probably tigers' behavior is started getting altered because of, as you have rightly mentioned, that tiger number is increasing, and but in the equal proportion, that their habitat is not increasing, and Suchi, you do not have to be worried about whether the right statement or not, because these things has been resonated in many of the conservationist findings as well. For example, if I talk about Dr. Ullas Karan, he's one of the eminent tiger scientists of the world, not just our country. He, in his recent book, Among the Tigers, very uh, candidly mentioned about exactly what you have said, that the increasing prey base artificially, increasing water holes artificially, and so that the tiger survival rate goes up, um, but at the same time not increasing the habitat, and that eventually leads into more territorial fight. So eventually tiger dies, but at the same time the behavior also get altered. So there could be some relation, whatever you have observed and whatever we have seen our scientists have mentioned in their various research findings. So thanks actually for putting your perspective on place on tiger tourism, because one of the key message which I wanted to convey through this book, Pseudo Ecotourism in the Shadow of the Bengal Tiger, is being a little more thoughtful about tiger tourism. And as you have correctly said, that tiger tourism is important for many aspects, not just for poaching, but for socio environmental conditions of people, income generation, economic upliftment. Many things are related to that. But the way we are doing the tiger tourism may be questionable. The very reason why you stopped going to tiger reserves after visiting first two or three tiger reserves in Bandhavgarh and Ranthambore. So
This is like
yeah,
if you really love someone, you wanted to leave them for their betterment, their welfare. So this is like a tiger. My relationship with tiger is like that. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Thanks for all these perspectives. So one last question for this, as far as this conversation is concerned, which I'd like to ask, that you of course have read this book, Pseudo Ecotourism in the Shadow of the Bengal Tiger, and is there any particular chapter or particular moment you would like to talk about, which probably have drawn your special attention while when you were reading the book?
Right. So yeah, so definitely I would go with those chapters where I was with you in the trip, because I can relate to those things, and it was like kind of reliving all those trip memories, right? So those are definitely my like favorite chapters from your book. And but the overall book is so like it was, I can say it's very close to my heart, because when I started reading those book, it is like somebody is like depicting my thought process into it, which is very relatable, right? Because we all go through the same journey, right? So kind of, so, and I really like the way you have portrayed the Prithu's character from the novel. And because I also read that novel, so I can really very well connect those dots here, right? And it was like depicting all the mindset of a particular, like what a middle class family, a person from childhood, to how his aspirations, how like how the journey starts, and how he got into this kind of like a passion. So it was very similar kind of. So the overall the book was a fantastic read, right? So I thoroughly enjoyed each and every chapter. But yeah, definitely the chapters where I was with you on the trips, I could very well relate it. And one aspect of your book is like you have depicted all the spaces, if you find very very meticulously, and you have listed them. And I saw wherever I went to the trip, after trip, you just send the list of the spaces what we have seen, what you have photographed and all, right? That was very amazing, because for me, like it happens that the whole journey matters. Like I just go there, walk into the forest and take the picture, and like admire the species, and discuss about in the field itself, like what is this and all those ideas. That whole journey is like kind of a like a beautiful for me. I enjoy that. But after coming back, my photograph will be in the some corner in the hard disk. But believe me, till date I have the photos which I have not processed yet. Right. So that is my way. But I really appreciate that like your pre trip homework and post trip homework is amazing, and that is reflecting in this book actually. So yeah, it's a wonderful read actually. I really enjoyed it thoroughly.
Thank you, Suchismita Sahu, for your kind words and for sharing your perspective on various aspects, herpetofauna photography, tiger tourism, and your working experience with Shreeram. So this is you, who is upholding Indian national flag in Antarctica when you
No,
were with just a
that
couple of
is
years back. So sometime maybe we'll talk exclusively about this trip
sure.
when there is appropriate time. But to end this conversation, I would like to know from you whether you have any specific questions for me.
Yeah, so when towards the end of the book, so when I was like kind of a completing the read, so see, as I said you, that book is still with me here actually. See, so as I when I was like kind of reading that book towards the end, when it was coming, I can see the that thing is getting lesser, but the journey is not completing. So it's like it is not a complete journey. So one thing I want to ask, what next? And I'm waiting for that, right? So this book is started like a kind of a journey, and the journey is not ending here. So is there
Yes.
anything you are conspiring to have a second one or a sequel kind of things?
Okay. Yes, that's a very good question. So I'll answer this question in two parts. So one is, if you have read the entire book, if you read the epilogue, then of course epilogue leaves a hint behind that
Yeah,
is just a start. Actually, what you have said, I said that. That's the journey for deep ecology begins. That's how the book ends in the epilogue. So of course it's the beginning of something, it's not the end.
correct.
However, Suchi, that uh, this book I have written with certain belief in my mind, which certain ideology, which ideology probably you and I share very well, almost similar ideology, and probably many other people share the same ideology. That when we talk about photography as a hobby, when you talk about ecotourism hobby, it cannot be about a single species. It cannot, every time, energy, money cannot be channelized on a single species. It has to be more inclusive for the actual, if you want to get real positive outcome of ecotourism, which is many, which is protecting conservation, which is income generation, habitat protection, everything. Overall sustainability, if we talk about, ecotourism has a huge role to play, and all we take part in as ecotourist or as a wildlife photographer, we play our role, knowingly or unknowingly play our role for the sustainability of the world. But that is only possible if you are more inclusive, not just focus on one single species. So this message I personally want to be reached to maximum number of people possible. So right now, my objective is actually that spreading this message at various forums, at to various people, either one-on-one or in this group, or participating in other kind of workshop, seminar, academic institutions. I have few talks lined up actually next few months where I'll be not online, where I'll be directly addressing people and talking about these. So this is probably my priority right now, rather than thinking about another book to be written. But as you have mentioned, mentioned, and as I have said, that this particular book in question ends with a statement that my journey for deep ecology begins. So definitely, at some point of time, definitely there will be a sequel.
We look forward to that, and we look forward to all your good works, because yeah, this is kind of a need of the hour, because the way the whole world is going, we all know it is not going in a correct direction. We need a people like you to guide. Like, yeah, it's a huge thing, but yeah, whatever we can do an hour bit, we should do about it. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for saying that, and definitely you are doing your bit for last more than a decade. I have witnessed that, and everybody needs to do that. So we have probably 4 or 5 minutes left. So anybody have any question for Suchi or for me? Please feel free to ask. We'll try to answer at our best. Otherwise, this book is available in Amazon. If you just type Pseudo Ecotourism in internet, then you'll find very easily how you can get the copy of this book. The title is a little unusual. There is not many books on this in this title, Pseudo Ecotourism. Very negative title actually, but you can find this book very easily by typing this title. Otherwise, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask to Suchi or me.
Hi, this is Rishi here.
Hi, Rishi. Good to hear
Hi.
you after a long time.
Hi, I have a question for Suchi.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much. Truly, a fantastic talk. If you see around the world, there are several countries which encourage ecotourism of various natures. If there is something that we can learn as a country from any of these other countries, do you have any suggestions? For example, what's happening in Svalbard, what's happening in Kenya, etc. Unfortunately, there are no good examples that I can think of. But if there is something where the country has truly taken ownership of how they can look at wildlife and especially ecotourism, maybe there's something for us to learn. Just wanted to hear your views on that, please.
see, there are a lot of things are there. So I will not kind of segregate tourism and ecotourism. I feel
Okay.
not only wildlife, all tourism should be ecotourism. Like, it has to be a sustainable way, right?
Right.
So, like, the simple thing, I don't believe in a big things like what, like, administration should take a decision, what politician should take a decision, or what like leaders or the leaders should take a decision on that things. I'm a grassroots person, and I can tell what we can do, right? So it's a simple basic things. If you can change yourself when you are in a trip or in a tour, right? So that will be contributing a lot, right? If you and your family or your friends surrounding. It's a simple example. I strongly deny to drink water from a plastic bottle, any Bisleri or
Fantastic.
anything.
Fantastic.
Right? So I strongly deny. So even a restaurant keeps me a Bisleri bottle in front of me. I said, no, I have no shame asking for a filter water in a glass, right? People take it as a like, oh, you have to pay money for that. No, it is not about money. It is about the like a kind of my philosophy. Like I don't want to drink from that. So this is a simple thing. Then, for example, this is one thing, and then you go to any restaurant or any resort in that sort or anywhere you are staying, so you will find everywhere this paper napkins, right? Like why cannot people understand that like this paper napkins are, I know this is a degradable, but it is generating a lot of garbages, right? Why we can't change it to a smaller cloth napkins which is can be reusable, right? Why we can't take our own bottle with us, fill it up whenever it is required? So these small things, if we can do on our base, our level, not only for the wildlife tourism, any tourism you go, anywhere you go in the world, right? So even
So,
I
in short, Suchi, you're saying we set the example for others to follow and emulate,
correct,
and if for them to see the benefit themselves, I think that's the greatest gift we can give to them, is what I hear from you.
because we don't have any control on the administrators
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
put up this rule, put up this kind of these things. So let's
Thank
better,
you so much, Suchi.
yeah. That thanks.
We'll be doing more such podcasts on various aspects of ecotourism. Uh, and I'll be keep posting whoever I know and whatever the social media I follow through that. And hopefully we'll have more meaningful discussions and sharing of insights, experiences, and that can help us actually finding some solution probably. So thank you very much, Suchismita Sahu, and all of you who have attended today.